And in gastrointestinal agents, let us discuss about antacids. Antacids. Before discussing about these antacids, let us discuss about our stomach and where does this antacids works, and let us discuss the physiology of stomach. Let us consider this is the stomach of a human being, and in this stomach it consists of four different types of layers. The outermost layer is serosa, and second layer is muscularis externa, and third layer is submucosa, and fourth one is mucosa. Serosa is the outermost layer, muscularis externa, submucosa and mucosa. This muscularis externa is again divided into two types. One is longitudinal muscles and circular muscles. Longitudinal muscles and circular muscles, and this serosa layer is also called parietal layer. Serosa layer is also called a parietal layer, and it is the innermost layer, that is mucosal layer. And if you draw a diagram like this, this red color one is the outermost layer and it is called parietal layer. This red color layer is called parietal layer, and the innermost layer, which is green in color, is mucosal layer. This green color layer is the innermost layer, and the innermost layer is called mucosal layer. This is mucosal layer and this is parietal layer, and our stomach is filled with gastric acid. This is gastric acid, that is HCl, gastric HCl. This is a gastric HCl, and this it is highly concentrated, and the pH will be between 4 to 6. It is highly concentrated and pH will be between 4 to 6, and this parietal layer is also called aggressive factor. This parietal layer is also called aggressive factor, and this mucosal layer is also called protective factor. This is aggressive factor and this is protective factor. Now, in our stomach, there are three different types of cells. One is neck cells, chief cells, and parietal cells. Neck cells, chief cells, and parietal cells. These chief cells and parietal cells secretes HCl. Now this aggressive factor or this parietal layer will secrete HCl, and this mucosal layer or this is protective layer, and it helps in now whenever this HCl will be secreted into our stomach, it has capacity of burning the layers of the stomach. Now this mucosal layer will helps in protection of these layers of the stomach from degradation of this HCl. Now let us let us consider an example, that is Helicobacter pylori is a bacterium. This Helicobacter pylori is a bacterium. Whenever this bacteria will be entered into our stomach, now what does this Helicobacter pylori do means it will degrade or it will digest the cell wall of parietal layer, these four different types of cell walls. It will result in degradation of these layers of this stomach, and it results in formation of peptic ulcer. It results in formation of peptic ulcer. This is a function of Helicobacter pylori. This is a bacteria when it enters into our body, it will degrade the cell wall of, it will degrade the layers of these four different, that is serosa, muscularis externa, submucosa and mucosa, and it results in the formation of peptic ulcer. This is about bacteria. And if we discuss about classification, if we discuss about the definition of this antacid, antacids are the drugs which are used for neutralizing the acidic secretions in the stomach. Drugs which neutralize the acidic secretions. Drugs which will neutralize the acidic secretions in the stomach, that is HCl, are called acids, antacids. Now if we discuss about this word antacids, it is of two types. One is ant and acid. Antacids mean antacids are the drugs which will work against the acids and helps in neutralization of the acids, that is HCl in the stomach. And these antacids are used in case of hyperchlorhydria. Hyperchlorhydria. It is used in case of hyperchlorhydria. This hyperchlorhydria is a condition in which the chloride ions or hydrogen chloride amount will be increased in our stomach, that is results in acidosis. It results in acidosis. Now whenever the pH of the stomach is between 4 to 6 and between 4 to 6. Now whenever if the pH level will be less than 4, it results in acidosis. It results in acidosis. Now whenever the pH value will be more than 6, it results in alkalosis. It results in alkalosis. Whenever the pH value between the normal range between 4 to 6, if the pH value is less than 4, it results in acidosis, and if the pH value is more than 6, it results in alkalosis. Now, and these antacids are alkaline in nature. Alkaline in nature, and these antacids helps in relieving of pain. It helps in pain relieving. And when does the pain relieving occurs means it results in hyperchlorhydria and peptic ulcer and heartburns, etc. These antacids will helps as pain relieving agents when this pain comes means in case of hyperchlorhydria, peptic ulcer and heartburns, and this is one of the function of antacids. And these antacids have one more function, that it helps in neutralizing the enzyme called pepsin. Neutralizes the pepsin. The function of pepsin is convert the pepsinogen into pepsin. And these are some basic information about antacids. If we discuss about the classification of antacids, these are based upon two categories. First one, based on mechanism. Based on mechanism, antacids are classified into two forms. One is systemic antacids and other one is non-systemic antacids. This is about two types. One is systemic antacids and another one is non-systemic antacids. These systemic antacids are also called absorbable antacids. These are absorbable antacids and these are non-absorbable. Systemic antacids are also called absorbable and non-systemic antacids are also called non-absorbable. And the systemic antacids are water soluble. And non-systemic antacids are water insoluble. These water soluble and these are water insoluble. And these systemic antacids can easily absorb. Whereas the non-systemic antacids cannot absorb easily. These can be absorbed easily and these cannot be absorbed easily. No, these non-systemic antacids cannot be absorbed easily. And one more difference is it produces systemic electrolyte alterations. It produces systemic electrolyte alterations, whereas it do not produce. These are based on first category, that is based on mechanism. These are classified into two types. One is systemic antacid and another one is non-systemic antacid. And these are the functions or these are the difference between these two. And the example for this is sodium bicarbonate. That is sodium bicarbonate, and this is about first mechanism. This is about first type. Now, if we discuss about second criteria, that is based on composition. Based on composition, these are classified as further. First one consists of calcium containing antacids. First category is calcium containing antacids. The examples of calcium containing antacids are calcium carbonate, calcium hydroxide, calcium bicarbonate, etc. And this is first category. Second category is aluminium containing antacids. First one is calcium containing antacids. Second one is aluminium containing antacids. This aluminium containing antacids examples are aluminium hydroxide gel, and aluminium chloride, aluminium carbonate, etc. This is about second category. And third category is magnesium containing. Third one is magnesium containing antacids. Examples: magnesium hydroxide, magnesium oxide, magnesium carbonate, etc. These are three different types of classifications based on composition, that is calcium containing, aluminium containing, and magnesium containing. And fourth category is combination of these three, that is calcium plus magnesium plus aluminium. It is a combination of these three ions. Example: aluminium hydroxide gel plus magnesium hydroxide gel, etc. This is about second category, that is based on composition. These are classified into four types: calcium containing, aluminium containing, magnesium containing, and combination of these three ions. This is about the classification of antacids. Now, let us discuss some ideal properties of these antacids. Some important properties of these antacids are: these antacids should not produce laxative effect. It should not produce laxative effect. What is laxative effect? Laxatives are the drugs which are used in case of constipation. This is about first property, and second property is it should not get absorbed and it should not produce alkalosis. It should not produce alkalosis and it should not get absorbed. Now this is second property, and next property is it should not result in constipation. This is third property, that this antacid should not cause constipation, and fourth property is it should show quick and fast response. Quick and prolonged action. It should show quick and prolonged action. This is fourth property, and fifth property is whenever these antacids are given into the stomach, it should not get absorbed or it should not get reacted with these stomach agents. Not reacted with stomach agents. This is one more property, and next property is this antacid should act as buffer, should maintain the pH between 4 to 6. It should maintain the pH between 4 to 6, and next property is it should be easily available. It should be easily available and should be less expensive. These are some important properties of these antacids. First one is it should not produce laxative effect, and it should not produce alkalosis or it should not get absorbed. And third one is it should not produce constipation. And fourth one is the action should be quick and prolonged action. And the next one is whenever these antacids are given into the stomach or injected into the stomach, it should not get reacted with the stomach agents that are like HCl. And next one is this antacid should act as a buffer solution and should help in maintaining of pH between normal range, that is 4 to 6. And next property is it should be easily available. These are some important properties of antacids. Now let us discuss one important theory about these antacids, that is combined antacid theory. What is this combined antacid theory and how does it works means, antacid theory, this is a theory. Combined antacid theory is a theory in which more than one type of antacid will be injected or will be inserted into our body through oral or through the mouth, so that it works in the stomach. These combined antacids are used in condition where there is a problem in stomach. Let us discuss 4 different types of problems and their solutions. First problem is let us discuss first problem. Whenever the pH value will be increased, it results in alkalosis. if pH value will get decreased, it results in acidosis. Whenever the pH value will get increased, it results in alkalosis. And whenever the alkalosis condition will get arise in our body, now the solution for this is alkalosis is, as we discussed, that some aluminum containing antacids like aluminum hydroxide plus magnesium hydroxide whenever the alkalosis condition arises in our body, the solution for this is antacids like aluminum hydroxide plus magnesium hydroxide gel will be inserted into our body through oral. This is first condition. Whenever these two different types of antacids are given to our body, it helps in decreasing of this alkalosis by increasing the acidic level and decreasing the pH value. This is first condition, or this is the first problem. And if we discuss the second problem, that is systemic alkalosis. Systemic alkalosis. What is systemic alkalosis? Systemic alkalosis will result in whenever the pH value will be more than 6. pH value will be more than 6. It results in systemic alkalosis. Now, the solution for this is, as we discussed, this is a systemic alkalosis. Now, the systemic antacid should be given, that is sodium bicarbonate will be given along with alginic acid. This sodium bicarbonate plus alginic acid will be given to the person who is suffering from systemic alkalosis, so that this alginic acid will decrease the solubility of this sodium bicarbonate and will decrease the systemic alkalosis. This is second problem. And if we discuss the third problem, that is calcium and aluminum containing antacids. Whenever the calcium and aluminum containing antacids are given to our body, it shows constipation effect. It results in constipation. Whenever the calcium and aluminum containing antacids are given to our body, it results in constipation. But as we discussed in properties, the antacid should not produce constipation. So, whenever these antacids are given, along with these antacids, magnesium containing antacids like magnesium hydroxide, will be given to the person who is suffering from constipation. Whenever this magnesium hydroxide will be inserted into our body, this magnesium hydroxide will mask the impurities like calcium and aluminum and helps in formation of this magnesium hydroxide gel in our body and decreases the constipation. This is the third problem. And if we discuss the fourth problem, that is magnesium containing antacids. Whenever the magnesium containing antacids are given to our body, it results in laxative effect. But in our properties we discussed that the antacid should not produce either constipation or laxative. But this magnesium containing antacids, whenever these are given to our body, it shows laxative effect. In order to decrease this laxative effect, the solution for this problem is the antacids which are combination of calcium and aluminum will be given. Calcium and aluminum will be given. Like calcium hydroxide and aluminum hydroxide will be given, and in this case this calcium and aluminum will mask the magnesium containing antacids and will decrease the laxative effect. This is about combined antacid theory. In this theory, more than one type of antacid will be given to the body in order to decrease different types of problems. This is some information about antacids.